Good morning from Gresham, Oregon. Oh, I feel so good about being back in this place where I can just wake up in the morning and immediately step outside and do my morning ritual and do my morning just care and check in and do my meditation and my writing and my card pulling. And what better setting than this? Um, I know it might be kind of loud for the video, but it just feels so good to be right here. This is where I want to be. I felt really inspired to share a video this morning because I also am, back at our cars and back with all my stuff, and I rediscovered this book that I'm super in love with. It's the Book of Awakening, and it's basically a daily meditation. It's 365 meditations by this guy named Mark Nepo, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And today's just really hit me so hard, and I just wanted to share it. And it's for August 5th, and it's called A Chick Being Born. And the opening quote is, "Every crack is also an opening." It says, "When in the midst of great change, it is helpful to remember how a chick is born. From the view of the chick, it is a terrifying struggle. Confined and curled into a dark shell, half formed, the chick eats all its food and stretches to the contours of its shell. It begins to feel hungry and cramped. Eventually, the chick begins to starve and feels suffocated by the ever-shrinking space of its world. Finally, its own growth begins to crack the shell, and the world as the chick knows it is coming to an end. Its sky is falling. As the chick wriggles through the cracks, it begins to eat its shell. In that moment, growing but fragile, starving and cramped, its world breaking, the chick must feel like it is dying. Yet once everything it has relied on falls away, the chick is born. It doesn't die, but falls into the world." The lesson is profound. Transformation always involves the falling away of things we have relied on. Whew. And we are left with feeling that the world as we know it is coming to an end, because it is. Yet the chick offers us the wisdom that the way to be born while still alive is to eat our own shell. When faced with great change, in self, in relationship, in our sense of calling, we somehow must take in all that has enclosed us, nurtured us, incubated us, so when the new life is upon us, the old is within us. I am super in love with this passage and just all the things that it feels so profound and just so beautiful to use this metaphor for what's happening in my life, but what's happening in so many people's lives. It's like we grow and we grow and we evolve and we change, and then we reach the confines of our world, the world that we've created in our mind, and it no longer is big enough to hold us. So we have to bust out. We have to break through. We have to make changes that are scary, that are terrifying, and that make us feel like everything is crashing down. And I think it's so amazing when it says the chick has to eat its shell. It has to actually eat its shell. It has to eat this thing that is enclosing it and keeping it protected and comfortable, because it's become so uncomfortable to stay in that size. It's like we all are growing all the time. And I think that's why we all struggle so much, is when we reach this place where like life just all of a sudden feels not comfortable enough anymore, and we have to do something to break through. And the resistance to breaking through to something new is what causes a lot of suffering. But when we do, there's so much space out there, and there's so much space, and there's so much room, and there's so much freedom until our next, confine, until our next shell that we have to bust through. But I love this metaphor because it just gives me a lot of grace and patience and sense of accomplishment to bust through stuff, to go through things that are really challenging and really hard and end up on the other side triumphant or expanded or new or born. And I really like it. And I really like the fact that it's like the chick ingests its old confines, so that it actually is within them, and everything we go through is always within us. and we use that as the resources as we step outside of our shell into our new life. So I just love it. I just love it. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed it too.